This is my recipe for my slow cooked beef brisket. And if you'd like to subscribe to Brad's World Kitchen, it's quite easy. All you have to do is please click on the subscribe button on my page. Well, this is 1.6 kilograms of beef brisket, and you can see here we've got a bit of marbling with the fat, and we've got a bit of fat on top. That is important. We do need a bit of a fat content because we're going to be slow cooking it. And this is from my local butcher, and that is my preference. And then for the rub, I've got ground cumin, that's onion granules, garlic granules, then I've got oregano, chili flakes, smoked paprika, that's ground black pepper, and salt. And I'll also be using this is liquid smoke to bring it all together. So I've got my bowl here now, as you can see, and these are all the spices for the rub. So just putting all those into the bowl. That's fine. And as you can see, that's all this. I'm just giving that a mix together. All right. You can see the rub there. So, and while I've got these gloves on, blue gloves, let's get that out of the way there. Right there. There we go. Well, I've got these gloves on because what I'm looking to do is to get all this rub, all of it, into the meat and start rubbing it all in and making sure we cover every single part of this meat. That's fantastic. And getting it all packed in there, in all those gaps as well. Well, I've coated the brisket now, as you can see here, with all that lovely rub. Let's get that in shot for you. And you can see underneath as well, there's a bit of rub left, but I'll be using a bit of this now. So that's lovely now, and I've packed that all in with my gloves. So I'm just taking this out the way. And there's our slow cooker. And I put this slow cooker, this is on low, and that's how we're going to keep it. So the brisket now is going in. And this is our liquid smoke. You can see it there, liquid smoke. And I'm just putting in. There's one going in, and we'll pour that. You can see there what I've done, I put this string on there, and I'm just trying to get it to run into those little gaps there. A bit more. It's around about 2 tablespoons full. But if you wanted a bit more smoke, you can. But what we do say in all our videos, what we don't want to be doing, we don't want to be overpowering. So I just put the rest of the rub, just put a bit more on top. That's our beautiful rub. Just put it on top of where that smoke was. And now we just put the lid on. We've got a high fat content there, so we don't need to put any oil in there because this will cook really slow and the fat moves out and it's like self-basting. And like we said earlier, this is a very, very easy, just showing you there so you can see it. This is a very, very easy dish to cook. All we've done, we've made up a rub and we bought a nice piece of brisket from our, as I said earlier, from our local butcher. And then it's just packing the rub around there, using some liquid smoke, and that's it. And now we're going to put this on low and we'll come back probably every hour to every 2 hours just to test it. But we want this to be falling apart. Well, I've had the brisket in the slow cooker now on the lowest setting, and that's been for 7 hours. And what I have done, I've popped back, and just poured a little bit of juice over the top because to keep that lovely and moist. And I just do that sort of every hour or so, just to come back and keep an eye on it. And you can see it there, it looks great. And with that sort of that rub, that's really like encrusted now around the outside of the brisket. And just to show you, this is our spoon, right? There's our spoon, and watch this. I'm popping the spoon into the brisket, and that goes right the way through. Look at that. So that's telling me that's done. That's just how I want it. And I'm going to transfer this out there, and I'm just going to put this in the oven for around about 10 minutes just to get a little bit more colour on the outside of the brisket. So I'll be doing that now. There's our brisket now, and I've just had that in the oven only for 10 minutes, and that was on 200. And this here, that's our juice. Let's get that into shot, yeah. That's the juice, what we put. That was what was left in the bottom of the cooker. And I'm just going to put a drop more of that on there. And what I did do this, I put kitchen paper in here, and you know, I just mopped up any excess, the surface fat. But that's all the liquor. That's all the liquor that's left over. And I'm just going to let that rest now for a further 10 minutes, and then I'll be carving that, and we'll be ready to dish up. So there we are now. I've let that rest, and that's been resting for about 20 minutes after I took it out of the oven. And I'm just going to come on this side here, and there we are. You can see it. That's the brisket, and I've cut a couple of slices off it, and it's lovely, lovely and soft here, just to show you. Beautiful. And there's that fat, that little layer of fat, and that's just all melted into the meat. And what I would do with this, I'm salivating as I'm talking to you actually, but what I would do with this, I'd either serve it with in a sandwich with my homemade coleslaw, or it's lovely with cauliflower cheese, or our own, very own mac and cheese. You could do it like that. And if you come in closer, you can see there, and I just got a knife here in my hand, and I'm just going to show you this. If you just come in there, you can see that knife will go all the way in. I don't want to do that. It will go all the way in there. That's how soft that is. And that'll just fall apart. And what I've done with this, I've kept the butchered string on there, and it's just see it around here, and that's just to keep its shape when I'm carving it. So I can't wait to get stuck into this myself. I've served up 2 thick slices of our lovely brisket, and I've accompanied with some crispy potato slices there, and that's accompanied with our homemade barbecue sauce, that's on the right, and behind that, that's our homemade coleslaw and our own very own homemade mac and cheese. So there it is. That's Brad's slow cooked beef brisket. Enjoy.